here's a little piece of media that got past the public's eye last year. In December, George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, was incredibly critical of the modern movie-making industry, and even went so far as to say there was more freedom for directors in the Soviet Union than there was in the United States. And this, he cites, is a reason why he stopped doing the Star Wars movies.
I know what's going to work and what's not going to work. But I do like movies. I love movies. And I know a lot of movies aren't popular. And you can say that going in. One of the reasons I retired is so I could make movies that aren't popular. Because in the world we live in the system we've created for ourselves in terms of it's a big industry, you cannot lose money. So the point is that you're forced to make a particular kind of movie. And I used to say this all the time when people, back when Russia was the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. And they'd say, oh, but aren't you so glad that you're in America? I said, well, I know a lot of Russian filmmakers. They have a lot more freedom than I have. All they have to do is be careful about criticizing the government. Otherwise, they can do anything they want.
And so what do you have to do?
You have to adhere to a very narrow line of commercialism. And there's only look, when I started in the 70s, it was like this. I could say Russia was like this, but we were like this. You could do a certain kind of movie.
Should any of this really be surprising? Do we literally not see the same story being repeated over and over and over again with the same narrative, the same overinflated budget, the same excessive use of special effects, a la Michael Bay? I mean, Hollywood does churn out the same thing over and over and over again because it will sell. If you pander to the lowest common denominator, anything that will appeal to absolutely everybody, well, yeah, you're going to make money. In fact, that's pretty much the point of movie making in capitalism, as opposed to the Soviet Union, where there was a lot of movies that were, investigating ideas, looking up, investigating new things that had never been done before. They didn't have a mass appeal, and that's why usually you find in the West such a niche market for Soviet movies, because people generally aren't interested in that. They want to see the same old rehashed, refried Hollywood crap over and over again. And I would even go so far as to say that even movies in the 70s did challenge the Soviet Union. Look at the movie Stalker. That movie was actually critical of socialism. It was kind of hard to decipher it there, but it was there. It was critical of socialism itself. So, I mean, we really shouldn't be surprised that George Lucas would say something like that. So I do applaud him on that level of saying, well, he wants to make movies the way he wants to do stories his way that say a certain thing that don't have a mass appeal to the mainstream. And I think we need a lot more of that. So I want to say I do salute him for saying that. But this is a little thing that he said that got overlooked because he used the term white slavery to describe his time or the functions of a lot of Disney movie making. Because people freaked out over that. They completely missed the whole thing that he said about Soviet directors having more freedom. Thank you for watching. Want to go ahead, rate, comment, subscribe, and share on various social media. And if you want, you can head over to my Patreon page and show your support. Or you could head over to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available.